call that a knife? This is a knife.
That's not a knife, that's a spoon.
All right, you win. I see you've played knifey spoony before.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. If you dig fasteners, this is the Internet Talk Radio show for you. Each episode, we present commentary, news, and discussion predominantly related to the subject of industrial threaded fastening, all in a convenient on-demand talk radio format. Thanks for clicking in, everybody. Eric Dudas here, and the co-host of Fully Threaded joins us today from Sydney, Australia, where he just completed duties as Master of Ceremonies at an exclusive black tie event. The man with the deep southern accent, Mr. Brian Musker. G'day, Mr. Musker.
How you going? Oh, sorry, I was practicing my Australian, okay?
As if you need some practice.
Apparently I do, but actually I was not the Master of Ceremonies, my little nephew was.
Oh, there was a change in the schedule, I see.
Yeah, there was, yeah. It was fine.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's present the lineup for this edition of Fully Threaded. This is episode 22, and it will be posted to the Fully Threaded radio site on March 28th, 2011. First, Kelly Hommel of Excel Screw will be joining us. She's the president of the North Coast Fastener Association, and she's going to fill us in on the third annual Distributor Social the NCFA is putting on. That's coming up in May. The Distributor Social has been an extremely well-received event that's really gaining momentum. Next, Matt Ulrich of Assembled Products previews this year's NFDA spring meeting, which is taking place next month in Orlando. Matt is currently the vice president of the NFDA, and he'll be moving up to take on the role of president at this meeting. He'll also be sharing his thoughts on a variety of issues related to the NFDA, including a tease about a new alliance that's in the works. Then, from Brighton-Best International, industry veteran Steve Andrasik joins us. We'll get Steve's take on the import outlook and also hear about a series of open houses that Brighton is putting on at several of their locations over the next few weeks. All of that follows Mike McNulty and his Fastener News Report, which is coming up in just a few moments. That, of course, is presented by Fastener Technology International Magazine. So there you have episode 22. What do you think, Bri?
Oh, sounds like a pretty good lineup, actually.
I'd say so. So thanks again for listening, everybody. And thanks also for the kind emails we received after episode 21, which was our one-year show. We sure do appreciate that. And your communication is always very welcome, and you can reach us anytime at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. Also, check our Facebook page and feel free to make comments there. We also try to post links on that page with follow-up information from each show, so take a look when you get a chance. So, Brian, you and the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey went off to Sydney, and what are you doing down there?
Well, I'm sort of meeting up with the family again and checking out the city itself, mainly just family stuff. But I did actually manage to get to one of the distributors in Sydney. Yeah, we had a great talk, and if someone from the States had walked into, the warehouse of one of these places, it would look exactly the same. I mean, I guess the fastening business is pretty much the same the world over. Terminology is a little different. They have the structure of master distributors, and then the distributors who sell to the, the public, they're called merchants. So they define themselves as selling to merchants if they're really selling to a OEM. Another distributor. Okay. But one of the interesting things, which we'll probably get into a little bit later, is that historically Australia, like New Zealand, was based on imperial measurements, and for a long time everyone used inches and things, and then few years ago they changed over to metrics, but that hasn't meant that they have abandoned the imperial measurements. In fact, they still have grade 8 and grade 5 stuff.
Now, the toilets flush backwards down there. Do they still screw everything in the same way, or how's that work?
Yeah, I know they walk around upside down.
Well, the Australians are so great at all these rhymes, and up here we've got, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty, but do they have an equivalent for, for the Sydney area, or have you not heard about that yet?
I haven't really heard that. But one of the funny things relative to Sydney slang talk is the Cockney rhyming slang, which is left over from 200 years ago. So it's a little bit like the Cockney talk in London, where they say words that rhyme with what they really mean. It's very difficult unless you know what it is.
Well, I have to imagine there's some of that that's specific to the fastener world, and we've got to dig some of that up. What do you think?
I don't know of any, but I'm sure the locals have words, okay? Yeah, I know, for instance, one of the differences that we were dealing with is that a fully threaded hex cap screw, which here is sort of referred to either as a tap bolt or a set bolt, in Australia is called a set screw, which is a bit confusing for us.
Right. Well, one of the cool things, and I guess we never stop marveling at this, is that we've got this user community for Fasteners Clearinghouse in Australia. And, of course, we've had several users in New Zealand in the past and in Australia. And I guess part of it possibly could be that your appeal with your brethren down there. I don't know if that's really it or if it's just that it's a useful tool for them. What kind of feedback did you get?
Well, I think it's just a useful tool. I don't think, the people who I talked to didn't know that there was any association with New Zealand or Australia when they contacted us. They just simply searching for fasteners and found Fasteners Clearinghouse.
Right. Oh, that's good stuff. Well, let's take a moment to remind everybody that we are the people who bring you FastenersClearinghouse.com and FCH Sourcing Network. It's a giant online network for industrial fasteners, and I hope that your team is using it anytime the need arises, particularly when you're looking for a hard-to-find fastener item. Go to www.FastenersClearinghouse.com. You can access the database anytime, do a search, contact the distributors directly, and we hope you'll do that. On the other side of the coin, if you have inventory to move, get with us on that regard too. We'll help you out. We'd be thrilled to have you using Fasteners Clearinghouse as a sales channel.
And we should say that if you do have inventory to move, don't sweat too much, because the scrubber can help you to just give us a spreadsheet and we'll translate it into something that means something on the web.
Yeah, that's right. Good point, Bri. In other words, we take a lot of the hardship out of getting your inventory listed online. Our scrubber software will do most of the formatting for you. 98% of all the inventory you see in the database was not actually typed in. It was actually formatted by the scrubber.
Right. It could even be higher than that, but that'll do.
Just for a minute, getting back to some of the feedback we received on episode 21, I should have pointed out when I was running down the list of people to thank, Chris and Lisa over at Hudson Fastener sure have given us a lot of support during the last year, and particularly through their Twitter Fastener News account, which they do a real good job of. And I think they were kind of on the forefront of getting news headlines out on Twitter. And hey, ladies, thanks a lot for the support.
Yeah. Did you see the post about fascinating domains out on the Fastener blog?
That's right, yeah. Traveling Salesman did kind of a departure on his blog, and he had a little bit of an interview out there instead of his standard just kind of regular post and a blog post, and that was pretty interesting. Hey, another interesting thing happened to me this last week. I was up in Winona at a meeting at Fastenal, and lo and behold, as I was waiting to go in for the meeting, I was reading on the wall of the lobby, they have a placard that describes some of the hallmark moments of Fastenal's history, and they've got a whole bunch of quotations pulled. And for the year 2003, who was listed but our own industry analyst, Holden Lewis from BB&T Capital Markets.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I hope you called him and told him.
Oh, I did when I got back, and that was really excellent. And see, folks, Fully Threaded, we've got top-tier talent for you in some cases.
In many cases. In most cases.
Right.
It's a bit of a drive up to Winona from here. You take your fishing pole up?
You know, I should have. Driving along the Mississippi River there between La Crosse and Winona, it's just beautiful. And the funny thing is, we actually got our fishing season started during the weekend, and I was down in southern Illinois, and it was like 74 degrees. By the time I got up to like Baraboo, Wisconsin, it was ice and snow up in the hills and so forth, and on the Mississippi River in the backwaters, they were still iced over. So it was quite a distance I traveled there in the course of about 12 hours or so, and that was good to get up there, though, that's for sure.
Wow, yeah. Well, it spans a bit. Of course, I'm down in temperatures a little hotter than that.
Yeah, what's it like down there in Sydney these days?
Well, it's sort of everyone's sort of getting depressed because it's coming to the end of summer, but all that means is that it gets slightly cooler and it rains a bit more. I mean, they don't really know what cold is.
Now, what happens to the kookaburra at that time of year? Do they all migrate to another side of the island? Or, I mean, what happens? Do they just stay and continue to annoy you?
Well, they sort of stay. I mean, you've got all sorts of things. You've got fruit bats, which are about the size of squirrels flying around. They screech all the time, too, at night time. There's not a quiet moment, really.
Well, when you get back, I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. Now, before we get to the Fastener News Report, I know Mike spends a little bit of time talking about the tragedies in Japan. And what are your impressions? What have you heard from the folks in Sydney? Of course, this is also coming in the aftermath of the earthquake in Christchurch. That was very, very dramatic, too.
Yes. Well, in general, as I saw, there's a great deal of sympathy for what's going on in Japan. The Australians are sort of blessed with not really having a problem with earthquakes, except a few up north. But, it strikes the front page of the newspapers all the time what's really happening and how the people coping. So I think everyone is really feels for the Japanese. I mean, they've got some real trouble they're struggling to overcome. I did actually hear some reports of the aftermath of the earthquake in New Zealand down in Christchurch. A lot of the damage is not quite as visually evident, but it has had a serious impact in the ground. One of the impacts of an earthquake, if it's in a sandy soil, is what they call liquefaction, where the ground sort of turns to liquid, and that's what happened in big sections of Christchurch. So stadiums and all sorts of things just got to be abandoned, and whole suburbs are being abandoned because the soil underneath them, ground is simply unstable now.
God, it's hard to imagine. Now, several people have asked me, you're actually in Sydney right now and your family's there now, but you actually came from New Zealand. Are any of your friends or family, were they involved in the Christchurch earthquake at all?
No, I've got some remote family, but they're inland from Christchurch, so they would have been pretty far away from that.
Okay. Well, our thoughts go out to everybody involved in the Christchurch and in the Japanese earthquakes. I mean, these are just devastating tragedies. What can you say?
Yeah, well, we hope they overcome them and rebuild.
And again, Mike McNulty's got some comments on that in the Fastener News Report. Why don't we get to that right now?
Yep.
Thanks, Eric, and greetings to all the fully threaded radio listeners out there. This is Mike McNulty with the Fastener News Report, brought to you by Fastener Technology International, your print and digital magazine for the whole fastener industry. Well, Eric, temperatures are heating up here in Ohio, and many eyes are now focused on the college basketball tournament, which featured a half dozen games last weekend about 30 miles up the road from here in Cleveland, as well as several dozen more all over the USA. I'm pinning my hopes on the Ohio State Buckeyes winning the whole tournament, but until that happens, I'm staying focused on the fastener industry. Our lead story today is about Japan's impact on the fastener industry. The earthquake and tsunami disasters in Japan have leveled major blows to the country's humanity, infrastructure, property, financial markets, and industrial base. Short, long-term impacts will be felt not only in the world's third largest economy, but all over the world. On the fastener side, we have the following to report. Japan has a strong tradition in the fastener industry, and it boasts leadership in designing and manufacturing high-performance fasteners, as well as state-of-the-art machinery, tooling, and know-how for making fasteners and precision-form parts. China Fastener Info reports that in 2010, Japan exported about $3 billion worth of fasteners, and it imported almost $750 million worth of products. The top 5 destinations for fasteners made in Japan are China, the USA, Thailand, Europe, and Indonesia. Global Fastener News reports that the supply chain of raw materials to make fasteners, carbon and stainless steel wire, rod and bar, for example, will be affected not only from shutdowns at damaged factories and current energy shortages, but due to a longer-term division of raw materials for internal reconstruction purposes. Through the same news source, XL Screw reported that most Japanese fastener factories are in the Osaka area, which is far from the damaged areas, but U.S. fastener companies with facilities in Japan expect a long recovery period. The Japanese Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, also known as MITI, reported suspended operations across most industries, including steel and automotive production. Nippon Steel, Kashima Steel Works, and Electric Steel, and the major automotive suppliers, Nissan, Honda, and Toyota, all have plants out of commission or slowly ramping back up. Supply chains across the world that are fed with Japanese components and subassemblies are obviously being disrupted, and pressure is mounting on companies to find alternative sources as they work through existing inventory if they have any. Many experts expect prices of affected materials and components to rise. Now, Eric, I don't know anyone who knows exactly how everything will play out with Japan in the short or the long term, but we do know that there will be a global impact based on the country's industrial stature and history. I'll have some more editorial comments on Japan in the back section page of the Fastener News Report. Now let's move on to our Fastener Newsmaker highlights, which leads off with a patent announcement. A 16-year U.S. patent has been granted to Douglas Townsend for rib shank bolts that are expected to be used in engines as connecting rod bolts. The patent covers thread and fasteners produced with a reduced cross-section shank. These patents are available for manufacturing, import, and usage licenses in the USA. Contact Doug at rib-bolt@verizon.net. Canada's Interfast and China's Avic International Zhuhai Company signed a letter of intent to create a joint venture company in the Guangdong province of China that will supply specialized fasteners and hardware, fastening systems, and value-added services to the aerospace market in China and the Asia-Pacific Rim. The joint venture company will be located in Zhuhai City in Guangdong Province in China. Wolverine Plating in Michigan is now offering tin zinc plating in addition to its established zinc and zinc nickel finishes. Tin zinc offers corrosion resistance, ductility, lubricity, and resistance to extreme environments. The company also offers a plating report titled How to Avoid Plating Services that will help you lose customers. PAM Fastening Technology experienced record sales in 2010, and now it's expanding its sales organization to prepare for future growth. The new director of sales, Matt Minshew, joins PAM Fastening in a strategic role, overseeing North American sales and a team of regional sales managers. The new marketing manager for Hot Melt Systems, William Strother, will be concentrating his efforts on PAM's growing adhesives market. PAM's products are supplied via North American distributor network. Our final newsmaker highlight is that in the past business year, Bossard Group reached its best result ever. Group-wide sales rose by 25% and their net income tripled. All of Bossard's business units around the world contributed to the positive results, including Europe and North American outlets. Bossard also set records for return on sales and return on equity. All right, Eric, next up is our Fastener Events on the Horizon reports, featuring updates on shows in Germany and Brazil. The April 2011 issue of Fastener Technology International will feature news reports straight from the Fastener Fair Stuttgart show, including details on the winners of the Route to Fastener Innovation Contest, which was organized by Fastener and Fixing magazine. The first place award went to Scott Karunker, VP of Mectron Engineering in the USA, for the First Scan 150R, a first article inspection system. Second prize went to Harold Gottlieb of UIP Systems in Germany for the U-Bolt, a self-cutting undercut bolt. And third prize went to Michael Wilkinson of the UK-based Tight Fix Limited for the Clad Tight Auto, which is a removable fixing cladding for wood-based applications. The Stuttgart show was produced by Mac Brooks. From the same show organizers, Fastener Fair Brazil is scheduled for this November in Sao Paulo. Reasons to take a look at the Brazilian fastener industry include the 2014 World Cup, the 2016 Olympic Games, and Brazil's rising status in the automotive world. Mac Brooks says that Brazil is now the world's fourth largest car market and its sixth largest car manufacturer. Now, in the last episode, I talked about Wire 2012 in Dusseldorf, Germany next year, but I forgot an important detail that our fully threaded radio hosts and listeners should know about. Not only is Dusseldorf home to a great wire industry trade show that features a great fastener manufacturing exhibit hall, but it features locally brewed alt beer that is served straight from tapped barrel kegs in small 7-ounce glasses that get replenished as fast as you can empty them. The best place to enjoy an alt beer, which translates to old beer, is outdoors in sight of the Rhine River at the Urigi House Brewery on Bergerstrasse in the Altstadt, the old city section of Dusseldorf. Finally, let's turn to the back page of this report where I give some personal interest stories and editorial comments. This time up, we're going to talk about a fastener video, the crisis in Japan, and the Chevy Volt. First up, Portland Bolt has produced a good video called How a Bolt is Made. Al Fogel, operations manager at Portland, provides the introduction on the video that takes viewers through the steps needed to make a 1 1/4-inch diameter by 4 foot long hex head anchor bolt, similar to ones used on the Caney River Substation project in Howard, Kansas. I like this video, and you can check it out at portlandbolt.com. Portland Bolt ships products throughout the USA and internationally. Next up are my editorial comments on Japan. I think that Japan is a strong country filled with many proud and talented people. Japan has bounced back from other major crises, most notably its economic resurgence after World War II. But I think the road to recovery this time around will be tougher because of 3 factors. Number 1, Japan's current 20-year record of economic stagnation. 2, Japan's 2 decades of increased reliance on government power in the way of higher taxes, increased spending, and rising debt. And 3, Japan's aging and shrinking population. With a median age of 45, Japan is the oldest country on Earth, and for 40 years it has had a birth rate way below the level required for replacement. In 1960, almost half of Japan's population was under the age of 25, and today less than a quarter of the Japanese are in their early 20s. The country is not known as an immigration magnet. Time will tell if there are enough Japanese people able or willing to do the work required to rebuild the country. I hope that there are, and I think that the energy required to do it will come from the youngest and future Japanese generations. And finally, more on the Chevy Volt. In the last episode of this report, we talked about the car's failure to impress Consumer Reports, as well as its $7,500 subsidy from the U.S. government. Volt's electric performance may be weak, but the story is not dying. Writing for Forbes.com, Patrick Michaels calls the Volt the car from Atlas Shrugged Motors, a reference to the Ayn Rand classic story where politically favored technologies and jobs are pushed on a sagging economy, even if nobody wants them. Michaels points out that the Volt's sales have averaged about 300 units per month since its introduction, even though GM announced a production run of 100,000 for the first 2 years. Doing the math, they're currently 93% off the monthly target. But I guess that GM should not worry because Jeffrey Immelt, CEO of General Electric, as well as President Obama's new Economic Advisory Board chairman, has said that GE will buy 50,000 Volts over the next 2 years. If you do some more math, that's $375 million subsidy paid by the U.S. taxpayers to General Electric, the company that just happens to make windmills for another government-favored technology, wind power. How convenient. Fortunately, we are not as stupid as some of our political and business leaders think. Or are we? This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International bringing you the Fastener News Report. Visit www.fastenertech.com to learn more about the fastener industry and send your news, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
Fully Threaded Radio. Stick around.
fastenersclearinghouse.com. Search and source from over 500,000 line items, or just a mouse click away and available at no charge. When the need arises, you won't find a better place to locate hard-to-find fastener inventory. It's where you need to be.
This is Joe Truckee of Cal Fasteners, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for us.
This is Robert Wanzer, and Fasteners Clearinghouse works for American Imperial.
This is Andy Pell from ScrewCrew.com, and FCH works for the fastener industry.
Join the sourcing network now and show your inventory to a whole new market. Turn slow movers into cash. List up to 10,000 line items. Show them to distributors only or to the world. FastenersClearinghouse.com. It's where you need to be.
This is Marcy Meyer with the Pacific West Fastener Association, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
If you're a distributor or a manufacturer's rep operating out of the northeast part of the country, there's a networking event coming up that you'll be sure to want to hit. It's the North Coast Fastener Association's third annual Distributors Social. And here to talk with us about that is Kelly Hommel. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for joining us with Fully Threaded.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Now, you're with the inside sales group of Excel Screw, but you're also the president of the North Coast Fastener Association. And what can you tell us about the social coming up?
We are very excited about our Distributor Social coming up, and it is our third annual social, and we're hosting it on Thursday, May 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Independence, Ohio. And currently we have 23 confirmed suppliers who will be hosting that event. And what it is it's exactly as what is said in the title. It is a social. So we are putting together this event to have distributors come in for free. So all the distributors come for free and get to network with all the top suppliers in the industry in this area. And it gives them a chance to take advantage of the night and mingle with their fellow coworkers within the industry and meet with suppliers and take advantage of the night and make it what they would like.
Now, I heard good things about this event. I think it was first on the Traveling Salesman's blog. And, of course, this is the third time you'll be putting the event on. I guess it's expanded since then, isn't it?
Yes, it sure has. Yeah, in the past 2 years, we've had roughly about 100 distributors come to the event. And this year we're looking to increase more. We think we might even project to be about 150 to 175 attendees.
Wow.
And that's because, yes, we're very excited about that this year. And it's mainly because of two individuals on our board, which is George Hunt from Brighton-Best International and Marty Nolan from RL English. And they've gotten really creative and came up with a new idea and a new twist to add to the Distributor Social this year, because we're trying to make it more attractive to bring more individuals in from surrounding big cities such as Pittsburgh and Erie and Lexington and Louisville and the Detroit areas, and even Cincinnati and Columbus.
Right.
So we know that it's going to be time. It's going to take travel for everyone to come up and to join us for that night. So what these two gentlemen did for us is they came up with an idea. We're going to be offering a limo service that's going to start at the Crown Plaza Hotel, and we're going to make a tour throughout the Cleveland area. So it's going to be for those that are out of town, but of course anyone local is more than welcome to take advantage of this time. But what it will be is it will give distributors a chance to meet and greet. They'll go to Kerr Lakeside, which is a well-respected domestic manufacturer of high-quality sockets and screw products, cold form special products, and screw machine products. And then they will take the limo from there straight to Brighton-Best International, which is a master importer of all things fasteners, basically. And they will have a tour of their facility, and Brighton-Best will also be putting a lunch together. And then it will finish up at Erie View Metal, which is one of the premier platers in our industry. So everyone can go to all three of those locations. Then the limo will take them straight back to the Crown Plaza, and they'll be right back just in time to start the Distributor Social for the evening. And then that will finish off with 3 hours of networking for the rest of the night.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Now, what time does that tour start, actually?
The tour set time we don't have exactly yet, but we will have all that information on our website, which is www.ncfaonline.com. And we have all the reservation forms for the distributors as well as the suppliers on our website. And then once we have the exact time set up for everything, that will also be posted. So even though we do have only those 3 companies that are part of the tour, we do also want to make sure that everyone knows that all of the suppliers who are putting on this event will also have a list of all the distributors who will be coming in, especially everybody coming from out of town. So if they want to take advantage of that time being up here, they're more than welcome to set up individual tours of their own facilities with these companies, or if they want to do anything else on their own, they can take advantage of those individuals being in town as well.
Yeah, that really sounds like a smart idea. Boy, this event is really, it's really mushrooming, isn't it?
It sure is. We're very excited about it.
Now, does the North Coast Fastener Association put on any type of a tabletop event later in the year also? And if so, was there any thought given to kind of folding it into this social event as well?
No, we decided to stay away from the tabletop show because it seems that the success of this distributor social is because it has been a very laid-back atmosphere. We have a huge banner put up during the event that shows all the suppliers are listed. So you see everyone who has put on the event. And then we have tables set up with literature and information and anything any of the suppliers want to bring with them. So we keep it as comfortable and as leisure as humanly possible. And that just came up from the ideas of all the members, and we decided to try that 3 years ago, and it seems like the draw and the excitement of it is that it's because it's so laid back. Everyone can take advantage of the night and do whatever they want with it. So we would like to keep it exactly as the social as the way it is. So we're not looking to do a tabletop with that event now.
It's kind of like a fastener show without all the pesky show aspects.
Right, right, exactly. That's right. It's been very successful.
Well, it sounds like a great event. And again, all the details are on the website, which is www.ncfaonline.com.
That's correct.
And I tell you, Kelly, while we've got you here, we really haven't covered the North Coast Fastener Association very much on Fully Threaded. Could you give us a little bit of a thumbnail on your association? What are you all about?
I sure can. The North Coast Fastener Association is a not-for-profit organization, and we're just made up of volunteers who work very hard to help educate the affiliates within our fastener industry, as well as putting on social networking events so everyone can mingle and get together and know each other. And so we were established in 1982, and our goal is to basically continue to grow the organization and just to be of assistance of members by helping them stay abreast of events taking place in the fastener industry. So, yeah, so we have a great group of board members. We have about 50 members, I think, currently right now. It's still early in the year, so we're still gathering up all of our members. And we have a great group of board members as well as our member groups as part of the association. So we enjoy being a part of this year after year.
Well, that sounds excellent, and appreciate the introduction. We'll be keeping our eye on you. Again, we've kind of started off this year by focusing on some of the other associations, but we're very glad to make your acquaintance and also to support this event because it sounds very, very worthwhile. Again, that's the North Coast Fastener Association Distributor Social. It's happening May 19th at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Independence, Ohio, and we've been talking with Kelly Hommel. She's the president of the association, and boy, we sure do thank you once again, Kelly.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
We've mentioned that the spring meeting season for fastener associations is in full swing, and with us now to talk about the NFDA's spring meeting, we've got Matt Ulrich with Assembled Products. Hey, Matt, thanks for returning to Fully Threaded.
Oh, well, hi, Eric, and really thanks for having me on. I enjoyed listening to the programming and look forward to much more.
Hey, appreciate that. What are you seeing in your neck of the woods? You're out there in Des Moines, Iowa, and what's going on with business these days?
Run a small distribution company that centers or focuses on selling to the ag industry. So really in our neck of the world, things are really good. I think that it's following the larger economy. The things that I tend to look at as far as economic indicators are all pointing up. The price of beans and corn and everything else is fantastic, and the effect that has on us as happy farmers that want to buy more implements. So, as I look at the world too, that's pretty much what I'm hearing from all the other economists are out there. People are spending money and things look good. So that's my quick insight. I'm happy at this desk, but on a negative side that we're seeing, and this is more industry focused, is the fact that prices are going up. We're going to see a time of inflationary increase. We've seen it already in oil, and that's going to affect directly the freight cost and steel. And I don't have a crystal ball on what that means, besides that it's going to be really interesting running companies that we all need to have a plan of either raising prices to our customer or controlling costs. And it's going to be fun.
Well, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, we've been hearing that pretty much across the board, so not a big surprise there, but I guess it's comforting to know that you're feeling it pretty much like everybody else. Let me ask you this. In the ag sector, is there a big push at this time of year, or does that kind of come after the harvest time, or how does that cycle look?
The industry is fairly cyclical, and the logic behind it is I think there's a lot of farmers planting in the field during the summer months, so they're not out there buying. And during the winter months, that they're they're taking their tractors, implements apart, and repairing them, and they're also making large purchases for the upcoming planting and harvest season. So the slow time is in the summer months. We're in the fall, and winter months are very busy for us.
So you're just coming out of your busy season then?
Yes, we're on the tail end of that, and it's been good. It's been exciting, and really we're back up, if not past production capacity that we were about 2 years ago.
Interesting. Now, we didn't mention a moment ago, but you are the vice president of the NFDA, and a little bit of a changing of the guard is coming up at the spring meeting. The spring meeting, of course, is happening in Orlando this year, and that will be at the PGA National Resort and Spa, and it's happening April 6th through the 8th.
Yes, we're returning to a spot that we enjoyed 2 years ago, and it's wonderful, it's warm, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to getting down there. And it's a great passing from the Midwest, from the winter and spring into the summer and pool time of a nice resort. So we're really looking forward to that, and I am going to become the president this year. We are passing the torch from Jim Deary, who's done an excellent job of running the organization. There were a lot of changes last year, from a new executive director to really implementing strategic initiatives of membership profitability, globalization, and alliances. And his leadership, we've really followed through on that path, and I think made some great changes and strides in the organization itself.
So the new officers and the new board, they will all be announced at the meeting. Is that how it works?
Yes, we'll be announcing new board members, and we welcome those board members. There will be three people invited and voted on to be board members: an associate member and 2 distributors. And we'll be saying goodbye to 3 board members that have been tremendous to the organization. Wendy Rose from Blue Ship Engineering is the immediate past president. Dave Monty from Fall River Manufacturing, and Steve Turner from Great Lakes Fastener and Supply Company will be leaving us. So we thank them for their service.
And what other activities are scheduled for the meeting this year?
We've got some great events. One that everybody always looks forward to is Brian Ballou, and he does a fantastic economic analysis of most segments of the markets, the segments from boats to ag to really you name it. He tries to cover them all, and what he is a great motivational speaker. So he takes economics and turns it into just a fun couple hours. And, the value and advice that he gives is fantastic, and people really look forward to that. We're also going to do a critical issue roundtable, and that's bringing in subject matter experts in the warehousing logistics, lean for distribution, and HR and employment retention issues. And we're going to sit at round tables and hopefully discuss best practices that people can return home to their organizations and implement these things immediately. And we want those to make an effect on the bottom line, to save them cost. We'll also have an exporting outlook. One of our strategic initiatives was to go a little more global, and it's really on the export side of globalization. What we want members to do is start thinking globally. It's going to be tremendous growth out there, and it's something that we need people to at least focus on, if not have a strategic plan to do it, at least to sit at their desk and say, hey, there's an idea that maybe we can chase customers to better serve them. So somebody's coming in from the International Trade Specialist Office, and they're going to talk to us just about how to go about that, how to take down those barriers to get started outside of the United States. And then we're also going to cover some healthcare reform. As you know, that's been a very fluid situation. From day to day, we don't know what Congress is going to do long term with healthcare, but we know it's going to be part of our future. And hopefully we can get the most updated ideas on what that entails and the cost that it might bring to our organizations, and be able to plan for that better.
Who is actually presenting on that subject, Matt?
The two individuals right now are Ken Wexler and Mark Holloway, and they are from Lockton Incorporated. It's the world's largest privately owned independent insurance brokerage firm.
Well, that sounds like a great lineup. And, of course, in the backdrop of all of that is a fantastic resort with fantastic facilities and a wonderful golf course, as I understand. Are you much of a golfer yourself, Matt?
Trying to be a golfer would be the optimum word there. It's one of those games that you'd think hitting a little white ball around would be easy, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue with that, anyone who stepped out on the green.
Right.
Of course, for folks with more of our persuasion, we talked before, and I know you're a fisherman, in the outlying area there's some amazing bass fishing. I don't know if any of your guys are going to be taking advantage of that, but, that's what I'd be doing.
You are invited down to attend this meeting, and maybe you can lead a little group. There's the little golf ponds. I don't know if that's allowed, but hey, we could be out there one evening and you could show us what would it be, a southwestern Florida bass, big mouth bass looks like.
There you go. I don't know how that'd go over, and I hadn't thought of that before, but, I'm going to take that under advisement. Speaking of that, we had Tom Buddenbone on recently, and he was actually reporting in from the Stuttgart show, and he had indicated during one of his comments that this is the last of the kind of the golf resort-type meetings for a little while. What's the story with that?
Well, we've tried to listen to our membership and provide a value proposition for what makes sense for them at meetings. The economy of the world, really, over the last couple of years is not one where we can go out and blow a lot of money taking a vacation and calling it a business trip. So we're conducting something that makes more financial sense, something that we can come into and get in and out of much quicker. As you were to look at our programming, we're really only going to be at the resort for 3 days. We start on Wednesday and end on Friday, in the hopes that people can get home if they need to during the weekend, or really to be more flexible with their time. So we're listening to people and listening to the economy and trying to drive a benefit that way.
Sure, makes sense. Also, speaking of Stuttgart, what did you hear was the result of the mission over there? I know that was definitely something that was fulfilling the platform plank of globalization. What did you hear from that trip?
Well, the NFDA did take a group over to Stuttgart, and it was thought of very positively. Our executive director, Mark Leinhardt, led a small group, and the reason, I think, for sending Mark and some individuals over there is to start getting educated on the international trade. And I know that they met with a specialist over there, and it was a great time of education and camaraderie. I mean, you got to face it, it's great going to go out there and have camaraderie, to be with people you do know, and to share what you learn over there with a group of people. So it was a very positive exercise, so much that we're thinking about doing the same thing with a trade fair in Brazil.
Yes, the Sao Paulo show coming up November 8th and 9th, that's also being put on by Mack Brooks. So the NFDA is going to be participating in that as well, Matt?
That's the goal. We, of course, that cost has not been approved by the board, but I know it's something that we're going to talk about at the next board meeting coming up at PGA West.
Got it. So then, as the new president of the NFDA, it sounds like you're going to be continuing on the same direction that Jim has kind of set out. And what else do you have in mind for your tenure as president, Matt?
I think the big thing that's coming up that's been very newsworthy lately is the working relationship with FIFA. More on that will be announced. But what that means to the industry is the word we've been throwing around a lot is collaboration. And we find, or the NFDA board finds, a great value proposition in that industry collaboration. It's things like reducing redundancy and duplication of resources. Cost drives everything, and we know in economies of scale that we can drive more out of our dollar. So that's one of the underwriting goals of this collaboration. And another one would be creating an environment of increased networking, education, and content. If we can share it with many people, more people are going to have good ideas than one person. If we can share it all, I think it will be benefit to everybody involved. And then providing a common structure and oversight to some associations that might need it. I mean, the goal of that is definitely to we don't want associations or people that might come under this relationship to lose their identity or independence. They always need to maintain their autonomy. But in certain situations, we might be able to provide that structure and oversight that individuals or groups do not want to have or do not want to pay for, to be honest, and we can help with that. Ultimately, we believe the future is bright for our industry, and we just want to help shine that bright a little lighter.
Interesting. And SEAF, of course, is the Southeast Fastener Association. Recently, we had the president of that group, Joanne Bayless, on Fully Threaded, and they just had their spring meeting. I think it was about a week back. So she had mentioned something similar, did not, have the ability to announce this yet, but we'll be getting details of this at the spring meeting. Is that true, Matt?
I don't want to put a time on it right now. I don't know if the spring meeting, more details will be coming out.
Got it. Okay, well, good. Glad to hear that everybody's moving in the right direction.
I can guarantee that. That's the one thing I can speak directly on. We're moving forward, and people are excited about it.
Outstanding. Well, let's repeat once again. The NFDA annual spring meeting is happening April 6th through the 8th, and that's down in Orlando, Florida, at the PGA National Resort and Spa. More information is available at the NFDA website, and that's at www.nfda-fastener.org. And I suppose, with the invitation that you extended, if you see a guy out there, a good-looking guy and some waders, maybe on the near the ninth hole or so, casting in the pond, I guess that'll be me.
I can't wait to see it. I'll be out there to join you if you bring your fishing gear there. No doubt, Eric.
Well, I don't know if you should hold your breath on that one, but on the other hand, you never know. So,
Cirque, on that note, I wanted to thank you guys for having me, but I also want to congratulate you and Brian for the 1-year anniversary of Fully Threaded. I guess that might have been a couple weeks ago, but hey, that's a great milestone in anybody's life and business, and we wish you the very best in the future. So thank you. Thank you for being on.
Hey, really appreciate that, Matt. That's great to hear, and we'll try and keep pumping them out. Matt Ulrich, Assembled Products, and the new coming president of the NFDA. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Brighton-Best Vice President Steve Andrasik coming up next on FTR.
This is Tom Buddenbone. I am the membership chair for the NFDA and the partner in Technology Components Southwest. I'd like to invite you to consider membership in the NFDA. Some of the benefits to membership include tremendous industry networking, business education via the Institute for Trend Research, economic insights with the quarterly trend reports from a service that's provided to us, global perspective when buying and selling all over the world, tremendous benefit in information sources from Asia and Europe, gives you an opportunity to strengthen your relationship with other members, both suppliers and distributors. We offer an annual meeting that has ESPS session, which are a series of 30-minute scheduled meetings with existing companies you do business with, and more importantly, for companies that you don't do business with and want to learn a little more about. Our goal is to gain new members, both distributors and associates or manufacturers and large importers, and we also want to invite back those that have dropped out of NFDA in the past due to some of the economic issues of the past couple of years. It's a great association with great members. Please take a peek at www.nfda-fastener.org, or you can call the office for NFDA at area code 312-673-4900. Thank you again, Tom Buddenbone with Technology Components and the NFDA.
This is Sue Rice with the FCH team. It's my job to make sure that as an FCH member, you receive the highest possible benefit from your participation in the network. Did you know that once you're logged into FCH, you have access to exclusive search tools, site statistics, and tracking information about your inventory and source finder inquiries? It's all just a click away, and I'm happy to walk you through it. If it's time to refresh your inventory, don't worry. We'll run your listings through our scrubber software and get you up and running in a very short time. If you can attach a spreadsheet to an email, you can list inventory on FCH. We can also show you how to optimize your listings to attract the most hits for your type of fastener. Send email to Sue at fastenersclearinghouse.com and let me help you get the most from the FCH sourcing network. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
You have reached Rosa Hearn from Brighton-Best International. I'm unable to get to the phone right now because I'm listening to Fully Threaded Radio. Please leave a message after the beep.
Joining us now is Steve Andrasik. He's the Vice President of Sales for a little fastener distributor called Brighton-Best International. Welcome to Fully Threaded, Steve.
Good morning, Eric. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How long you been with Brighton, Steve?
I've been with Brighton about 26 years. Started with them in Cleveland, Ohio, and still there.
You're an industry veteran, and you've been around. You know a lot about this industry, that's for sure. What are you seeing going on out there in the market these days?
Brighton-Best is very busy these days, Eric. We've had a lot of growth, since the new ownership back in 2008. We have seen an awful lot of growth with our company. Expanded product lines and buildings, and certainly the sales have been very good, and have been very good really over the last 3 years.
Now, Brighton is in 5 countries, and that's 34 locations. Isn't that correct?
19 U.S. locations, 34 worldwide locations. We've kind of had this business model or distribution model for a lot of years back before Brighton-Best International with Brighton-Best Socket Screw, and it's been very good. We've had a lot of warehouse expansion in the United States, and we've just started to take that overseas. Recently expanded our warehouse over in the United Kingdom.
Now, obviously, I was joking at the top of the discussion here. Everybody in the industry knows Brighton, and I think most people are familiar with the change of ownership that happened a couple of years back. What do you see are the major changes since that point, and did your role in the company shift at all as a result of that?
My role changed in the company about a year and a half ago. That's when I became vice president of sales. But really, the company, there's some things that changed a lot and some things that didn't change. I guess general philosophy is still the same. We sell very high-quality products. We haven't changed that. We stayed with a lot of our tried and tested vendors. We are still a leader in the socket screw market, full lines of all the socket products, including specials, off-the-shelf specials. We sell through distribution only. That's not changed. That's always been our model. But I guess what has really changed is, everything else, the way we do business. We're big in the technology. Our sales these days are probably 75 to 80% done over the web.
Wow.
That's considerably different than before. The old company didn't even have a website. So to do this much business over the web is an incredible difference. Our product lines have grown from probably 15,000 SKUs to over 60,000 SKUs. Our footprint has more than tripled. I guess our warehouse space has more than tripled in these past 3 years. And the markets we get into, we're starting to get into construction markets in structural bolts and threaded rod and those kinds of things, which were areas that the old Brighton-Best was involved with at all before.
That percentage of business that you're doing as a result of online transactions, is that for just the U.S. market, or is that across the board in all your markets?
Strongest in the United States. The other markets are coming on, but strongest in the United States.
Interesting.
Really, that web platform is real important for us. It's good for our customers. It's very easy to use. They like using it. It's very quick for them, and it's very good for us also.
Well, there's no question that it's made quite a splash. People are talking about it. People use it, and you're definitely a leader in that area. I was just reading on FastenerNews.com some of the comments that Bruce Darling of Porteous made at the PAC West meeting last week, and he pointed out that he sees very little fastener manufacturing capacity expansion in China while demand continues to increase. Do you see these trends impacting the U.S. market right now?
I think out of China, yes. The deliveries on product coming from China are slower and not as reliable as deliveries coming out of Taiwan. Really, the majority of our product comes from Taiwan. It's with this very established customer or vendor base, and we don't really have, or we're not really seeing delays or those kinds of things. But certainly on the product coming from China, there seems to be a number of things over the last year that have impacted material coming out of there. But that said, there seems to be other countries coming on, like Vietnam, and other countries coming on, maybe picking up some of that slack.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that. I think what I was really getting at, though, was the competition for inventory. In other words, the demand in China kind of absorbing some of what's out there. And, in light of that, we talk a bit about prices and price increases coming. They seem to be driven by raw material and fuel costs, and, of course, manufacturing labor rates are increasing, too. But you don't hear about competition for supply contributing to rising prices yet. I mean, do you think this is coming? And do you see the role of the master importer changing, if so?
Price increases are coming, for sure. That's been happening all year. Certainly there's a lot of things that are creating that situation. But the role of a master distributor changing, I think that I think the answer is yes. I don't think that the industry will just accept material at the lowest price as things go forward. Distributors have to be able to count on the quality of the products that they're getting. They have to be able to count on the supplier, Brighton-Best, has to be able to count on the inventory of the uninterrupted flow of material coming in. We have to be able to make commitments to our suppliers. I think the distributor may have to start looking the same way, and when it comes to people, master distributors like us, that the strong alliances with their suppliers, so they can count on the inventory and they can count on the quality of the goods. That I think that shopping for price is going to be important, but still not the driver as we go forward.
Okay, yeah, that all makes sense. And I realize you don't have a crystal ball. I guess I'm looking down the road to something that may be unforeseeable in terms of this competition. I remember last year at the spring NFDA meeting, Stephen Fong of the Taiwan Fastener Distributors Association was commenting on, or speculating, I guess, on the scenario where the world begins really exporting to China due to their astronomical demand.
Well, you know what? We may see that first in Japan, maybe, with the situation that's over there and their need to rebuild that country. That you may see that so much of the export turned around and kept domestically. And I guess in that regard, that will have an impact on the rest of the world also. Certainly will put steel in shorter supply, and the products that Japan may have manufactured for export will be used internally.
That's a great point. Well, let's turn the subject now to something a little more stateside, which is an event, or actually a series of events that are coming up that Brighton-Best is putting on for all of your customers, and that's a series of open houses. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Steve?
Eric, thanks. Brighton-Best is we're going to have open houses at all our major regional facilities around the country. We did this 2 years ago when we first started getting into these facilities, and it's something we think is important to do again. The expansion of our product lines, moving into the areas of threaded rod and stainless steel, and just again coming back in and looking at the commitment to inventory and technology that we've made. We think it's a good time to get our customers back in and have another look.
Now, I should have pointed out earlier, but the website for Brighton-Best is www.brightonbest.com, and the open houses that we're going to describe here are listed there. There's a flyer there and also an RSVP button that I'm guessing you're going to want people to take advantage of, right, Steve?
If we could, that'd be great. Our first open house will be in Chicago. It's coming up next week, March the 30th, and it's at our facility up there, which is a kind of a normal warehouse for a regional warehouse for us. That's about 110,000 square feet, fully stocked and racked. So it's a beautiful facility and very typical of the facilities that we have around the country. We'll go from Chicago to New Jersey on April 5th, in Atlanta on April 15th, in Los Angeles on April 19th, Dallas, Texas on May 4th, and in Cleveland, Ohio on May 19th. The Cleveland event is going to be in conjunction with the North Coast Fastener Association. They're having an outing that day, and they're going to tour some of the facilities around the area.
Now, as fate would have it, we had Kelly Hommel from the North Coast Fastener Association on the show earlier, and so we were talking a little bit about this event and how they coincide. I don't know, you're going to have to watch yourself that day there, Steve. I heard that's a pretty rowdy bunch.
That's been a really successful event, I got to tell you. Kelly and George Hunt and the group at the North Coast have done a great job putting that together, I got to tell you. If anybody is out there and close and has the opportunity, they should attend. It's a lot of fun.
Well, that seems to be the consensus. Now, so what should people expect at these open houses? What's going on? You're going to do basically just facility tours and what else?
I'm going to do tours. That certainly is the primary reason to have it. But I think it's a good opportunity for people to come in and meet their salesperson, their inside salesperson, to actually to see how we operate in the warehouses. I think when you come in and see the facilities, a lot of times you're able to actually bring ideas back with you to improve your own situation, or find ways where we can work closer together, Brighton-Best and the distributor, that maybe it's labeling, maybe it's some kind of barcoding. But whatever it is, I think there's always it's always a good opportunity to see if there's opportunities to work closer, us and the distributors out there to work closer.
Yep, it's an excellent tool for that sort of thing. Now, are you going to be attending all or some of these?
Eric, I'm going to try to attend all of them. And I should mention that there'll be food at all the events, door prizes, and those kinds of things. But the real the real opportunity, I think, is to see the commitment the company has made to the quality of the product and the inventory on the product, and then also to find the opportunities to work closer together. So that's what I really think is what everybody should try to walk away with out of this.
And let's say again, the website for Brighton is www.brighton-best.com, and there's a link clearly on the homepage there where you can access the details and select the RSVP button for the location of your choice. Well, Steve, I sure do appreciate you taking some time out and sharing all of this with us. I look forward to seeing you. I'm going to try to make the Chicago open house myself, and look forward to seeing you there.
Hey, Eric, thanks for giving us the opportunity to come on Fully Threaded Radio and talk about our company and our events. Thank you very much.
Steve Andrasik, Brighton-Best International. There's more Fully Threaded straight away, mates. Stay tuned.
Fastener Tech 11 is the all-fastener industry event in the heart of the fastener industry. This is Nancy Rich, Executive Director of the Midwest Fastener Association, and on behalf of the Midwest Fastener Association and Fastener Technology International Magazine, I'd like to invite you to Rosemont, Illinois, June 13th through the 15th, to attend Fastener Tech 11. This year marks the 30th fastener show the Midwest Fastener Association has produced. This year's Fastener Tech features seminars, meetings, and activities, including the premier trade exhibition in the Midwest. This event will also include the all-industry reception, which is open to all exhibitors and attendees. Also this year, Fastener Tech will take place alongside Surfin', the annual trade show of the National Association for Surface Finishing, which offers free admission to Fastener Tech attendees. For details and registration information, please visit www.mwfa.net or www.fastenertech.com. If you attend only one industry event this year, make it Fastener Tech 11 in the heart of the fastener industry.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, www.semperfifund.org. Over the past 7 years, twice a year, the wonderful people who operate the Semper Fi Fund and many amazing Marines who have been the beneficiaries of the charities that have supported the Semper Fi Fund, including many thousands of individual donors, have come into my radio studio to tell their amazing stories of serving their country, of being wounded, and how the Semper Fi Fund has helped them make that transition back to recovery. Unfortunately, Bethesda and Walter Reed are full again. More and more men and women are coming back from the war injured, sometimes awfully so. We need the Semper Fi Fund to be there for these Marines and those soldiers, sailors, and airmen who served alongside of them. Please consider a gift to the Semper Fi Fund. Very low overhead, extraordinary capacity to get money where it needs to get in a hurry, and great management, including some of the senior Marines who have ever served under the flag. When you're looking for something to do that will make an impact, please check out the Semper Fi Fund. That's www.semperfifund.org, www.semperfifund.org.
This is Greg Wiener with Quick Screws International, where we say if it's wood, it must be good, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, your online fastener radio amigos, playing a little knifey spoony and coming at you from down under.
Hey, I'm the one that's down under at the moment. Returning soon so I can stand right side up.
So, down there at your sister's place at that black tie affair, did they have butter knives the size of machetes on the table?
Mate, they only do that in the advertisements for Outback Steakhouse, okay?
The ones where they have a shrimp on the Barbie, you mean?
Yeah, right, yeah, and they always have these huge knives to cut up the steaks with. You'd probably be kicked out of a restaurant if you turned up with a knife like that.
Don't dispel all of our romantic illusions, Brian.
Okay, right.
You're going to kill tourism down there. You know, they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, forget I said that. Well, mate, you can kill this kookaburra effect. The amazing thing is there really are kookaburras outside the window, and it's sort of a bit of a pain if you're trying to record because they make such a screechy noise. But, you know, this is Australia. It's not. It's really close to what it is in these ads. But, you know, our little do was a very good do. Saw a lot of friends, and some people came over, about 20 people came over from New Zealand. But also, while I was here, I managed to went out to, as I mentioned before, to go out to see Eclipse Fasteners, and Justin Pearce, who's manager for the Mackay branch, but he's really in Sydney at the moment, came and picked me up and took me out to their place, had a look around it, very good, and I think that we might be able to have an interview, so it'll be another take from a fastener company on the other side of the world.
Oh, that'll be good. So we'll be playing that on the next episode if everything goes to plan, is that right?
Yeah, there's timing's a bit of a problem, and as you know from catching hold of me, that part of the world is about 10 hours away from this one, so we're nearly on the other side of the world.
And you're ahead of us. Hey, can you pass any good stock tips over while you're at it?
This is only in movies, okay? Yeah, actually, I'm the next day on already.
Well, we'll look forward to that for the next episode. And at that point, why don't we take a moment and thank all the guests from this episode. And they are Kelly Hommel of Excel Screw, Matt Ulrich of Assembled Products, Steve Andrasik from Brighton-Best International, and our friend Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International. It's a great job, Mike, and good job of pulling in all kinds of stories from all across the fastener spectrum.
Right, yep. And I really enjoyed listening to Mike's report.
We get a lot of feedback on that.
Oh, yeah, and so he should. It's a great report, and he puts a lot of work into it.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Mike. And thanks to all of you for tuning in, and we sure do appreciate your listenership. We appreciate you telling your coworkers and associates as well. That seems to be a trend. The show keeps growing, and we'll invite you to subscribe. If you're an iTunes user, you can do that through iTunes. And if you're a BlackBerry user, you can also subscribe to the podcast. Your communication is always welcome, and you can email us at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. And be sure also to take a look at the Facebook page, where we'll put some links up from this show and miscellaneous assorted sundry other nonsense that we come up with.
Well, no, it's not necessarily nonsense. It's links that relate to things that we talk about in the show.
Like so I said.
Had a bit of a, yeah, I know. I had a bit of a run on the ones from last time for some of the weird things we went through on our last show.
Yeah, I saw that. Now, there was one thing that we could probably circle back to for just a moment here. So, just repeating again, you're a New Zealander, you're spending time in Australia at the moment, and people have heard me make a few references over the various episodes to you being a man who enjoys a good sheep farming joke. And, of course, the folks in New Zealand are largely farmers and sheep farmers and ranchers and so forth. So when you were talking about the Blade Runner and you said that the author Andrew K. Dick had written a novel called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, I really gave you a pass on that one, because we could have taken that one a mile, man.
Yeah, we could have. Actually, the problem with the sheep jokes is that the Australians love telling those jokes about New Zealanders.
I mean, sure.
New Zealanders counter by always including an Australian in jokes about sheep as well. So, in fact, I was told one at the party that exactly was a sheep joke involving a New Zealander and Australian.
I'm guessing it's not appropriate for Fastener Radio?
Absolutely not.
Right.
But it is a take of a New Zealander telling a joke about sheep.
Well, turning the tables on that whole subject, there's another story out there in the news that ties up a few loose ends, and we should probably wrap up with this one, and that is a headline comes our way via news.com.au, and it has to do with one of our favorite subjects, and that is beer. And the headline is, "How does space beer taste? It's out of this world." And they're describing this new brew that we mentioned a few episodes back from Four Pines Brewing. Did you see this one, Bri?
Yeah, I did. And I see they've called it, having said it's out of this world, they've named it Vostok after the first manned space flight. So, and I also see the brewery is in Manly, which is, one of the beach suburbs of Sydney, and a very famous area, actually.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll have to get out there and check it out. Hey, one of the brewmasters, Mr. Mitchell, is quoted as saying, "Wherever humans have journeyed or conquest to throughout history in the last few thousand years, we first worry about food, water, shelter, and clothing. In many cases, beer is the next consideration."
Right.
So
I have a feeling that in some of the explorations in this world, beer was one of the primary considerations, actually. Hey, think about the whole deal of the British, 200 years ago, especially developing, was it IPA, the India Pale Ale, so they could get beer on the ships out to India. I'm not sure they paid quite the same attention to getting beer to Australia, but the Aussies made up for it because they took hold of this brew and made it their own.
Well, yeah, and exactly how it lends itself to being consumed in space isn't exactly clear to me. They try and explain it in this story, which we'll put up on the Facebook page, but it's worth a glance.
Yeah, right. I think I'll still go back to our original view of the fact that the dream of life is to find powdered beer that you can just add water to and drink beer.
Right. We talked about that in a previous episode, so...
Yeah, we still haven't quite got there.
Well, in summary, what's your concluding comment on this topic then, Bri?
Yeah, well, I think the concluding comment is, mate, you call that a knife?
Oh, no. I'm going to have to stop this right here, Bri.
Look forward to catching you again when I'm back in the US.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, mate.
Okay.
For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
I can't think of anything else to say at the moment, okay?